Hello and welcome to everyone. I am Preeti Sharma from Kendriya Vidyalaya, GNU. In the last session, we have discussed the various forms of business organization, and in that we have discussed the first form, that is sole proprietorship. Now in this session, we will discuss the second form of organization, that is partnership. But before discussing the partnership, first of all let us discuss the home assignment which we have given in the last class. The first question of home assignment was, name the organization which is suitable for business acquiring personalized services. The answer is sole proprietorship. Second question was, name the form of organization when there is no separate law for either formation or closure of business required. Answer is also sole proprietorship. The third question was, does the sole proprietorship have an identity of its own? Answer is no. Question number 4, what does a person achieve in sole proprietorship other than self-satisfaction? Answer is sense of accomplishment and confidence. And the last question was, give one reason why sole proprietor usually does not employ talented and ambitious employee. Answer is due to limited resources. So now let us come to the topic, that is partnership. Let us discuss the meaning of partnership. Partnership is an association of two or more persons who agree to jointly pursue the business activity. They pool their managerial and financial resources. It is formed when there is a need for greater capital investment and sharing of risk. In this meaning, you have seen that in case of partnership, there is at least two persons are required to form the partnership business, two or there can be more persons who agree to share the future profit and losses. They pool their managerial and financial resources, and we usually use this type of partnership or this form of organization when there is a greater need of capital as compared to sole proprietorship. In case of sole proprietorship, there is less financial resources, but in case of partnership, there is more capital investment required. You can see that partnership form of business organization is governed by the Indian Partnership Act 1932. That means all the provisions and all the rules which are applicable to the partnership firm will be governed under the Partnership Act 1932. Now let us discuss the features of partnership one by one. First is formation. You can see that formation of partnership is through an agreement. That means when two or more persons who are agreed to join a business, then they have to write an agreement. It can be in oral or written. A written agreement is called partnership deed, under which all the provisions and all the guidelines are written which are applicable to the partnership firm. Second feature is liability. The liability of all partners are unlimited. That means if business assets, reserves and profits are insufficient to meet the liabilities of the business, in that case the personal property of the partners will also be used to meet the claims of the outsiders. It is same as we have discussed in case of sole proprietorship. Third feature is risk bearing. Profit and losses are shared in agreed ratio. Because there are more partners in the business, so all the profit and losses are shared in the agreed ratio which are written under the partnership agreement. If there is no partnership agreement, then in that case profit and losses are shared equally among the partners. Fourth is decision making and control. As we know that in partnership there are more persons who join the business, that means all the decisions are shared by all the partners. If there is one person who is not agree with the other persons, then there will be no decision taken by the partners. That means the consent of all the partners are required to take the sound decision. Fifth point is continuity. Business comes to an end due to the insolvency, retirement or death of any of its partner. In case of death, insolvency or retirement of any of the partner, business comes to an end, but a new and fresh agreement can be made between the remaining partners. Sixth one is mutual agency. All partners act like an agent as well as principal of each other, but it should be written in the agreement. Seventh point is membership. Minimum 2 members are required to form the partnership and maximum limit is 20 partners in other business, but in case of banking, maximum limit is 10 partners. Now, let us discuss the merits of partnership. First is ease of formation and closures. For the formation of partnership firm, there is no need or it is not compulsory for the partnership firm to get itself registered. It is not mandatory for the partnership firm to get themselves registered. It can be a non-registered firm also. Second one is balanced decision making. As there are 2 or more partners in the firm, so whenever the decisions are taken, the consent of all the partners are required. That will result in balanced decision making. Third is more funds. When 2 or more persons are come to join the business, that means more funds will be arranged, because when there is single person, so there will be less funds, but if there are more person, they will bring more money to the business. Fourth is sharing of risk. Like profits, business risk will also be shared by the all partners. Now, let us discuss demerits of the partnership. First is unlimited liability. We have already discussed that liabilities of the each partner is unlimited to the extent of personal property of the partners. For example, in case the business assets, reserves or provisions are insufficient to meet the claims of the outsiders, then in that case the personal property of all the partners will be used to satisfy the claims of the outsiders. Next is limited resources. Resources are limited when we compare this form of organization with the company, because in partnership there is also limited number of persons who join the business. So, the financial resources as compared to company form of organization is less, but it is more as compared to the sole proprietorship. Third is partnership of conflicts. Because 2 or more persons are required to form the partnership, so there is always a chances of conflict. In case one of the partner does not agree with the other partner, then there will be the situation of conflict. Fourth one is lack of continuity. In case of death, insolvency or retirement, the old partnership firm comes to an end, but with the consent of the remaining partner, they can make a new agreement and can continue their firm. Last one is lack of public confidence. As it is not compulsory for the partnership firm to publish their books of accounts in the newspaper or in general or in other magazine. So, the confidence of the public is not gained by the partnership firm. Now, let us move to the next topic, that is types of partners. There are different types of partners. First is active partner. As their name suggests, these type of partners contribute capital, actively participate in the decision making, but they are having unlimited liability. That means active partners are those partners who contribute capital as well as they take part in decision making, and they also bear unlimited liability. Second type of partner is sleeping partners. Sleeping partners are those partners who contribute capital but does not participate in the decision making, but they also bear unlimited liability. The third is secret partners. As their name suggests, secret partners are those partners whose association is not known to the general public, but they contribute capital, they participate in management, as well as they bear unlimited liability. Next is nominal partners. Nominal partner is that type of partner who allows the partnership firm to use his or her name, but does not contribute capital and does not take part in the management, but liable to the creditors. They are liable to the creditors because they are allowing the partnership firm to use his or her name. Next is partner by estoppel. Partner by estoppel is a partner who through his or her conduct gives an impression that he/she is a partner of the firm, so he is too liable to the third party. They are liable to the third party because they are giving an impression that they are the partners of the firms. Next is partners by holding out. A person who is not actually a partner of a firm, but knowingly allows himself or herself to be represented as a partner of the firm, he is also liable to the third party if he or she failure to clarify his or her position. So, we can say partners by holding out are liable only in that case if they do not clarify to the third party that they are not the partners of the particular firm. So, these were the different types of partners. So, now let us discuss the home assignment, which is based on the topic which we have discussed in this class. Question number 1, name any two partners who neither contribute capital nor take part in the management nor share profit and losses, but are liable to the third party. Question number 2, why it is advisable to have a written agreement in partnership. Question number 3, differentiate between sole proprietorship and partnership. I hope if you have listened all the topics carefully, then you can answer all these 3 questions. Now, let us recap whatever we have discussed in this session. We have discussed the meaning of partnership, features of partnership, merits and demerits of partnership, as well as different types of partnership. I hope you must have understood all the topics well. Thank you. Have a nice day.